Whenever you write about weapons, you need to study the technology of those weapons first. Sweet Insanity's writing tips has got you covered. We will give you the tools to write compelling combat stories featuring your favorite weapons. First up, the longsword. We're going to take a look at the weapon itself today. Longsword fighting is a combination of skill, strategy, and historical techniques refined over time. It takes a lot of understanding to master using a longsword. A longsword is a complex weapon that requires knowledge of its parts, capabilities, and how it interacts with the user and the opponent, thanks to its double-edged blade, long grip, and versatile design. Here's a breakdown of the key aspects to understand about the longsword. Parts of the longsword: the blade. The long, double-edged part of the sword used for cutting, thrusting, and blocking. The blade can be divided into the forte, the stronger, closer half to the guard, used for blocking and parrying, and the foible, the weaker, further half, optimized for striking. The point, the tip of the blade used for thrusting attacks. The design of the point can vary, with some optimized for penetrating armor. The edges, the sharpened sides of the blade. The longsword can strike with both the true edge, the edge facing the same direction as the knuckles, and the false edge, the edge facing the opposite direction. The guard, the crosspiece that separates the blade from the grip, protecting the hand from the opponent's blade, and can also be used offensively in certain techniques. The grip, the part of the sword held in the hands. The length of the grip allows for two-handed use, providing leverage and control over the weapon. The pommel, the counterweight at the end of the grip, which balances the sword and can be used as a striking tool in close combat. Also, can end someone rightly. Understanding balance and weight. The distribution of weight along the longsword affects its handling and capabilities. A well-balanced sword feels lighter and more responsive, making it easier to control in both offensive and defensive maneuvers. The balance point, the point at which the sword balances when held horizontally, indicates the sword's intended use. Swords balanced closer to the hilt are more maneuverable and suited to precision work. In contrast, those with a balance point further out may be optimized for powerful strikes. Capabilities of the longsword: cutting and slicing. The long edges of the sword allow for powerful cutting and slicing attacks against unarmored or lightly armored opponents. Thrusting. The pointed tip of the longsword is effective for thrusting attacks, capable of targeting gaps in armor or delivering precise strikes. Blocking and parrying. The length and strength of the blade make it effective for defensive actions against incoming attacks, using both the blade and the guard. Grappling and striking. The longsword can also be used in close combat, utilizing the pommel, guard, and even the grip for grappling maneuvers and blunt strikes. Interaction with the user grip technique. Effective use of the longsword requires proper grip technique, allowing for fluid transitions between attacks and defenses, as well as the generation of power through leverage. Stances and guards. Understanding how to hold and position the longsword in various guards is essential for both initiating attacks and protecting oneself. Movement and footwork. The sword becomes an extension of the body, with its effectiveness greatly influenced by the user's ability to move, balance, and position themselves. Maintenance and care. Keeping the longsword in good condition involves regular maintenance. This includes cleaning the blade to prevent rust, ensuring the hilt is securely fastened, and sharpening the edges as necessary for optimal performance. Getting to know the longsword in depth allows practitioners to exploit its full range of capabilities, integrating it seamlessly into their fencing strategy. All techniques, from the simplest cuts to the most complicated maneuvers, are built on this comprehensive knowledge.